Sure. Okay. Well, this was a great honor for me that this worked out, that Trey Devey is joining us now for our next session. Trey is the president of Interlochen Center for the Arts. He's also my boss. I've had the privilege of working for him for 4 years, and it has been a great time for Interlochen Public Radio because of his leadership. Trey is really a wise leader. He has a great sense about partnerships and collaboration in the arts, which comes up constantly in our conversations in this group. And I'll just give an example of something that really blessed my family. In particular, one of the partnerships that he's created for Interlochen since he has come is with the Miami Music Project. And now every year, about 40 kids from Miami who are a part of what is an El Sistema music program come to Interlochen, kids who would never be able to have an experience like coming to the camp that we offer here. And my son, I think it was the first year this happened, my son went to band camp and was in the jazz band as well as an elective. And we went to the concert, and here are all these kids from Miami playing with him. And it was really a wonderful experience. And I think the more we can get Interlochen connected to the regional arts community, and the more Trey can be among us for events like this, the better it will be for everybody in Northern Michigan. So Trey, welcome, and take it away.
Excellent. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate it. And I'm going to share my screen here. And it's wonderful to spend a little bit of time with the Northwest Michigan Arts and Culture Network, and appreciate all the great work that's happening as a community. I thought what I would do is give an overview of Interlochen in our time together, just a few things about directionally where we're going as an organization, and also speak maybe a bit more specifically to our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. And perhaps if there's time for a question or two, that would be terrific as well. But I'm going to go through this at pretty much 60 miles an hour, except I do want to pause and with Mary, special thanks to you and others, that the arts sector, I'm really grateful that we're on the regional scorecard. And the element that's being measured is the level of vibrancy of our arts and culture sector. And I think we're all aware of, once again, breaking into that top 10 list. And what I love about this measure is that this is absolutely a team sport. If you pull any one of our organizations out of the mix, to the point that was mentioned at the end of the last session, it's this entire community that makes this such an arts vibrant community, and to see that recognition is pretty awesome. And so, at Interlochen, we're grateful to be a part of this really extraordinary arts and culture community. So with that, just a couple of words about Interlochen. I think when many think about Interlochen, they think about camp, summer, and music. And of course, those are that's the legacy of Interlochen, how our organization started with a particular discipline at a particular time of year. But really, so much has evolved from the founding of the Arts Camp in 1928 to the Arts Academy in 1962. We've got Gary Gatsby here, and with the College of Creative Arts and the expansion into continuing education. Interlochen Presents, with the 250,000 people that in a normal year would come to Interlochen. And then thank you, Peter, for the introduction. Interlochen Public Radio, with both news and classical. And then the six, brought on by the pandemic and related to the point of creativity earlier around the expansion into virtual instruction, and really, pleased with all that's developed there, and the couple thousand kids that have been served in virtual instruction. So really proud of our alumni and all that they have accomplished and earned, and their recognition both within the arts and beyond the arts. I won't go through, these details other than to say that I think all of us share this desire to make the world better through creativity, culture, and the arts. And in our own ways, we're contributing to that with the creative capacity of those who are involved with our institutions. Josh Groban is an example of someone who was influenced at a personal level at Interlochen. And so that's one of the ways that we see as making a contribution to the world is at a very, personal, individual place, as well as the work that, that we do in our communities, whether it's in, retirement communities, or on the right is a event convened through Interlochen Public Radio that's exposing young people to the joy and inspiration of music. The second piece that I wanted to mention just in the brief time that we've got together is just a sense of where Interlochen is headed. And we're very much at this inflection point, having finished this 30-year, just about finished this 30-year campus transformation with 16 major projects over these past 30 years to focusing on Interlochen's 100th anniversary in 2028. And so coming out, really focused and shifting our focus from place to people and programs. So in the last few years, we've been finishing this campus master plan. On the left, upper left, you see the music center, upper right, the dance center, and the bottom of the screen is a residential facility that will house artists in the summer, teaching artists, and then our academy students during the school year, and visiting artists year round in the wing on the left. So bringing really exceptional artists to our community and having an impact on our campus and beyond. But the shift really for Interlochen is to people and programs. And this will be the focus as we approach, as I said, our 100th anniversary in 2028. So our intent is to be audacious, and that's I think a wonderful tradition of this institution, is to be audacious in those plans. I'm going to maybe skip past this and to say there's really two big themes that we're focused on. One is around the quality of the experience that we provide our students here, and the other is ensuring that quality experience is accessible regardless of a family's financial capacity. So in terms of quality, rather than focusing on buildings, the focus in the years ahead is around, attracting and retaining the very best faculty, and in some areas expanding our faculty so that we can provide a most comprehensive, or the most possible comprehensive curriculum to our students. Bringing additional visiting artists to our community across all of our disciplines, as well as the academics. Investing in special initiatives, for example, touring. This is we took 120 students to Miami right before the pandemic, in what was a pretty remarkable event. And I'll come back to this in a moment, but a very intentional and deep investment in our work in diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Young Artist Destination is really about access, and one of the most audacious goals we have is in meeting the full demonstrated need of all of our accepted students. So bridging that financial gap that might exist. Expanding talent-based scholarship, and lastly, really ensuring that we can bring the world to our campus. In the final moments here, I'll just say a few words about our diversity, equity, inclusion efforts. Really pleased that we were able to hire Esther Triggs to be our new Associate Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. I think Esther is not only going to be a great asset for Interlochen, but she's going to be a tremendous asset for our community. She brings wonderful experience, but a DEI lens that also comes with, work in particularly the theatrical space and how to use theater as a platform for social change. So Peter mentioned this earlier with one of the partnerships that we've created, but the domestic diversity of our academy student body has increased over these past 5 or so years. The domestic diversity of our camp student population has also increased in recent years. The representation of our BIPOC faculty and staff has increased as well. Certainly, more to do there. And we put sort of the policies and procedures in place for implicit bias training. And that was one of the first things that we did at the beginning of the year. We've got restructured our admissions team to have a person focused on multicultural recruitment. This year has been a wonderful example of expanding the purview and artistic and academic offerings to be more diverse and inclusive. And we've got leadership that are engaged in this work. So I'll just wrap up by saying, thanks for the opportunity to be together, and really again grateful to be part of this this arts and culture community, and just to say a few closing thoughts is that I think that this regional development scorecard is a positive sign that we are on the list of one of a handful of metrics that our community leaders are looking at, and with that gets more eyes on the value that our sector brings to this region. The other piece that I would say is that one of the elements of the scorecard is around the level of philanthropy that's provided to our various organizations. And so I'm really grateful when I'm in an opportunity where someone is supportive of one of the many cultural institutions in our region to reinforce and be an advocate for that philanthropy. I don't think that we can be, cheerleading enough for all of the work that's happening here. One of the areas I think in the scorecard where we stand to improve is the level of philanthropy that's coming into our organizations. And I think it's just a place for all of us to support one another, because there's really great work that can happen that all of us are doing. As I mentioned with the DEI work, and seeing examples of this throughout our community, I think we're making a difference here in bridging perspectives. And so, a really important role that we play. And then, finally, just would put in a plug for the, partnerships. And there've been a couple, one just, fairly recently here between Interlochen and Parallel 45 and others that I think we just have a wonderful opportunity to pool our resources and do something even bigger together and make a statement for our community that we're united as a sector. So with that, I'll stop my screen share and just say thank you very much for the time. Really appreciate getting a few moments on the schedule today.
Trey, thank you so much for being here. Do we have any quick questions that anybody would like to pose? If you'd like to put them in the chat, that would be great. But Trey, thank you. We have been I would say on behalf of the network, we've been so fortunate for Interlochen to really be a wonderful partner and a host for our summits since our very first one when we formed in 2016. As I said, we met as Varsity said, we met in the middle of a blizzard, and we have come so far today. Thank you for Interlochen's partnership, and thank you to everyone who is here. You've all played a role in building the network to where it is today. And would really like to make sure I recognize our wonderful board members. It's very much a working board, as well as the volunteers who worked on our planning committee, which extended out to also include Trevor's Connects Creative Coast folks as well. So thank you.